big announcement! Today, when this video comes out, we're gonna do a balance mod session, and maybe we'll play some of these new maps. Anyway, take it away, other GPS. Hello everyone, Hi GPS here, giving you a video on the new maps in the summer 2025 update. So this first map here is Aquarius, and I gotta say, I really like the look of this map. Only played a couple of rounds on it, but so far I like it. I really love the underground water-based aesthetic they got going there. I really like the colors and also the contrast, and I think a lot of work went into the lighting and just making it look authentic. Because with all the details and all the stuff around on the map as well, like the track and all the other stuff, it feels like it's meant to be there and we just happen to be fighting in a base that isn't made for fighting, which I think a lot of good maps in TF2 can do, where you just are in a location and you just happen to be fighting, other than like some maps who look like, well, this here is obviously just to, prevent a Cypress sightline or something like that, but here it sort of makes sense. So I really like it. Has, of course, some nasty sniper sightlines that you can't really do much about yet, and of course, the answer here is to just, lob a bunch of grenades to where the sniper's at and you can't really do anything. So there is counterplay from what little I've seen. I also think the ending is cool, where like you're trying to blow up this shark that's eating people. And really like how the bomb goes down in the water like this. It's very cinematic. Really cool. I wonder how long it would take to make this even, but yeah, there you go. That's Aquarius. Pretty good map from what I've seen. I'll definitely be keeping this one in my rotation when the summer season ends. So for the blue side, I'm just gonna show a little bit of the start here. I really like this drop here, where you like drop down into water and you can like see people swimming around in there. And also what I really like is that they give you a speed boost when you're swimming, because swimming in TF2 is usually pretty slow. So you get like these underwater fights, and of course it's infested with pyro sharks. But we don't really see them that often. There's not a lot of maps with water in them, so I think this update did a great job of picking maps that has, water in it. Next map is Cargo, which I think is a pretty cool map. It's a cargo ship. It feels authentic like the previous map. It's of the smaller kind, but it definitely feels like it's like not... It doesn't feel like a map where you are just fighting and it's made for like TF2. It feels like we're on a cargo ship. There's stuff here that, makes sense. There's a bunch of cargo containers on this cargo ship, and we're seizing like control of the ship from the defending team. I got like very like vibes for like Resident Evil 5's cargo ship level, as well as like the cruiser ship from GoldenEye 64. I forget what the name of that map was, but it has like the similar vibes, because they're all like on these sort of ships. So aesthetic and color-wise, I like it. The layout is pretty easy to follow. Like, this was the first time I played this map that you see here, and we're just like absolutely crushing the opponent team, because we are attacking at any point in time. Especially this point reminded me of like the Resident Evil 5 part, where it's like a big monster that comes up in like this area. But this might be a common thing for cargo ship. I'm not that often on cargo ships like these, but I do like the layout, and it's kind of cool and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely gonna be keeping this one in my rotation as well. It's pretty short, so it's like probably shorter than Gorge actually. So yeah, overall decent map. I liked it. Next up is Blowout. I wasn't that fan of this one. It's a King of the Hill map. It feels like we're on like a cargo loading dock, but it feels like very cramped, and it feels like not like the other maps where it's like, oh, it's a cargo dock and we happen to be fighting here. It's like, yeah, it's made to be like a fighting place, and it happens to be a cargo spot. So it's very cramped and very small, and has a lot of like small hallways and stuff. So, I mean, it's okay, but I will not be having this one in my rotation, I think, because it's just way too small and cramped. Hard to get, like, a view of different stuff. Nothing to do with me dying constantly on repeat, but, yeah. Aesthetic-wise, and the idea of, like, a loading dock is cool, but Generally, like the King of the Hill maps that we have in TF2 that I like. I mean, it's probably bigger than like Viaduct, but like the structure and architecture is like very complex. So you have like some small areas and some big areas, but I don't really think they matter too much. Which is like a difficult thing when making a map, is that like when players play on the map, they're just gonna do whatever is easiest for them and not really do what the designer thought. And I think there's gonna be a lot of like areas in this map that just goes uncontested, like there's really no point in going there, because all you want to do is like hold the point and do that, and I couldn't really find any decent way that made sense to do that on this map. So I thought like maybe Scout's good, but you can see like it's like cramped and open at the same time. And a lot of flanking routes and like vents and stuff. It has a lot of stuff going for it, that's for sure. So yeah, that's it. Next map. This one is Pressure. It's a capture the flag map. I'm not very fond of the capture the flag game mode. I've said this in the past, but like in TF2 has sort of evolved beyond that game mode because it's so easily abusable, because most of the maps requires you to run past the enemy spawn, and as long as you have to run past the enemy spawn and then back, it's not really gonna work that well. But overall, other than that, game mode wise, I think this map looks really good. I really like the aesthetic. It's really unique, where you have like this, you really feel like you're underwater and you're like at a research station, and we happen to be fighting at the research station. It's not like made for us, is the feel that I get. So of course has some small hallways and corridors. And there's intelligence, big room, big underwater. Looks nice. I didn't spend that much time on this map because like I didn't really enjoy it all that much, but it probably has like some bunch of secret hallways and stuff you can do and walk around and waste time that doesn't really matter and doesn't help with the pathing or anything. But overall it looks nice, it's aesthetically clean, has a very good idea of what it wants to be and accomplishes that. I like the detail with the alarms when the intelligence is captured and stuff like that. Next map. This map is Fulgur. We had this in the creators TF bundle, like way back. We had this map. And cool to see that it's been added. It doesn't really have the summer aesthetic that the other maps have, but it definitely has like that spy vibe base, and I like the layout where you're like going in to do it. So in this map, I'm playing against my friend Space, who snipes me a lot. Fuck him. And I also have a super bad team, which is funny because we have like this heavy who I think ended up doing 0 things this game. Was kind of a new player, so that was interesting. You can see me fast forwarding here. So far, like I like the layout. It has like a good, interesting feel, but I do think like if you play on it more, it's probably like going to be like Dust Bowl, where Red Demo Man is just the best on this map. Certainly has that feel. It also has like this other area where you like get stuck sometimes, like here. Like on this side here, where there's a drop down, but there's no walk up again, which is a bit unfortunate. So we're gonna try to like do a push here, eventually, at any point in time, maybe. The enemy team is owning us pretty hard. But yeah, it's like a nice view. I have like the helicopter landing pad or whatever that we're supposed to secure. Makes sense in a way. So here I drop down and I'm like, oh, okay, we go in with the Uber. And somehow we don't win this. I don't know why. And then I'm just sort of stuck here, right? We go into Uber, can't go through here, can't go up, and I'm not sure what the purpose of that was, or if there's like a way to get back up, but we didn't certainly find it, so we just stay here for like a good minute while I build Uber frantically with my less than competent heavy friend here. Then we go in with an Uber and just standing there before eventually deciding to move forward at any point in time. So we eventually end up going nowhere, and we lose this round, not getting the first point. So now that I lost, we get to see the rest of the map. So here we are. Fast forwarding a little bit here. So here's the limit of my team. So you shoot when there is no one here, and when the enemies that you can see through the window comes in, you don't see them, I guess. But yeah, like going after the outside area, you get like this nice... I really like this indoor area here. I'm not sure if I will keep this map in the rotation. I'll keep it for a little bit and play it a bit more, because I really like the layout. It's really cool. Has that good... like, it really gives a good spy base feel to it, which I think is nice. Other than that, so we did play it in Creators TF. I don't remember too much about it. Probably has been changed and updated and fixed since that, but I think it's pretty similar to what it was back then. It is a few years ago, so it's hard to really remember all of that. So yeah, not much more to say about this map. Next. Up next is this Demolition map, which is a strange oil rig-like map, but it's not an oil rig. It's like this weird crane area that has bricks, but you don't use bricks offshore because you use wood or metal, which it's a bit strange. And I thought the previous King of the Hill map, you know, was cramped. This one is absolutely cramped, and I don't think it was going to stay in my map pool, because like I realized later when I played this, is that Demo Man is the best class on this map, and there is no point in playing any other class than Demo Man. And the lobby quickly divulged into everyone just playing Demo Man because it was the best. So, the issue I have with this map is that it's extremely cramped. There's no real space for scouts to run around, no real areas for engineers to build anything. Soldiers do okay, but I think like Demo Man just flat out beats everybody here. Maybe like you can do pyro sometimes, but other than that, I don't think that's really the case. So this door opens sometimes. I think it's when you don't own the point, or maybe it's on a timer or something. I could never really get a good read for that. So the room up there where I just was seems to be like, oh yeah, this is the place you hold when you want to hold the point. But it's like you can easily picture that from the low ground as Demo Man. And as you see, like I mentioned, it slowly just devolves into more and more people being Demo Man, because you can just stay here and you can hit them on the point, behind the point, and you can also hit in the area where they are kind of holding the point on the high ground. So by standing in one spot as a demo, you cover all the options that the enemies are doing. And also, I think you only have one way to run out when the door is closed, and you have to run through here, because I didn't see any other path. Maybe I'm just blind and maybe there's like a path below or something. But like if you are a Demo Man, you can just set up shop here and just kill people pretty much on repeat. So that's pretty much what it devolved into. I like the aesthetic. It really feels like you're offshore, but it's super cramped. There's way too little room to move around. There's no real like areas that creates a lot of interesting place. It feels like a lot of Dust Bowl cramped here, where everything's just like a fish in a barrel, which makes Demo Man so good. Like it takes like nothing to just kill and do all that. And I think like more and more people just sort of realize that when we're playing. Like playing a Scouter is absolutely pointless because you can't really run anywhere if there's just enough Demo Man shooting pipes all over. So that's interesting. I am a fan of like oil rig and water based maps, just generally, but this one didn't really stick that well with me. So yeah, on to the next one. So the next one here is Citadel, and it has probably the coolest feature of all the maps, and that is like this giant tank thing that you can build stuff on top of, which is cool, except for that it gets immediately destroyed every single game. Like, that's what happened. People, like, you just jump down with Uber or without an Uber and just like shut it down. But it's a very cool feature, and I like that it's a tank, because normally the payload is pretty small, but here it actually ties into the design of the enemies having like a lot of high ground that you can use, right? I really like this sort of, I guess you can call it topology, where you have all like these pillars you can jump over and hide behind and stand on top of and stuff like that. And also that the fact that the tank offers cover for that as well, and you can walk up on the sides of it. So there's like a lot of movement, and you can play around like a strong defense by slowly just pushing the tank in, which is like the purpose of a tank, is to do that. So I think they did a good job on that. Here in this game, I don't think I die a single time, and we just kind of stay on the first point the entire time. But definitely Soldier is really good here, because this is the type of area that Soldier is good at. If you have a medic healing you, you can just stay up on the high ground here. I don't like the textures on the ocean here. Like here, I don't think it makes a lot of sense that you have like this, like this feels like it's made for the tank and not like the tank happens to be driving through here. Because that's like, this is a very like, I would say Normandy, you know, storm from the harbor sort of feel. But I think like once you get inside like the castle or city or whatever, it makes a lot more sense. But other than that, like I don't see why that would be. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's fine. It looks okay. Just think like the floor here could be something else, perhaps. That would make it look more natural. So what is cool here is that you have like this area up here where you can just walk off without, you know, being shot by sentries. And even if there's sentries on the roof here, you can use the tank to take cover from that and maybe have demo mans behind the cart and shell the top and sort of inch your way forward. It didn't happen here because there was such a huge difference in skill between teams, but I can see that a lot of thought and a lot of ideas are manifested here on this map using the payload as it is. And during my first impression with this map, we didn't really get to feel the depth of this one. So I think like this is a map where strategies will evolve over time as players figure out how to utilize the tank and how to counter that with the layout of the map. So we end up winning. I didn't die once. And there's also like a little, you can see the area where you're supposed to like build on a tank. It tells you that, so that's pretty cool. So to see the rest of the map, we had to be on blue, and this just ended up being a total stomp fest as well, where most of my game is just like spent on the cart and pushing forward. But I definitely think like Soldiers on attack carry is really good. You can just run up and take the ground and pressure. So we see like here, like there's sentries and you can just back off and it makes sense. Like there's a little cut there. Nice detail in the sky as well. So what's cool with the tank is that you can walk on the sides of it. Like there's like little areas there, giving you some elevation and stuff like that, which makes splash damage worse. So if they would have like stuff on the high ground there, we just use the tank, which also heals us, gives us ammo. You know, it's a normal payload cart. I really like the design on it too, where it's like, it has like handles to show you that like, oh, it's meant to be standing on. I think that's a great visual design, so great job to whoever modeled that. So here you can see like, even if there were sentries on the high ground here, we can just hide behind the cart. We could also just have sentries on it. You can also place a Fist of Steel Heavy in front of the sentry on the cart, and you can also like have an engineer with like short circuit or a pyro to just reflect projectiles, and then you can just really move that sentry in closer. So I didn't really get the experience of feeling what it's like to push through here, because we kind of just steam through everything. And it's also cool that you can have like teleporters on the cart, so teammates are always where the objective is. I think that's a really, really cool feature, and I hope to see more like tanks like this in other payload maps in the future if they're able to pull this off. Really like this drawbridge here. It really makes sense that we have to wait here, because we have to wait for the bridge and stuff like that. So that's cool. The only one that approaches here is the spies, and you can see like the problem with the shift in mentality for players in TF2 with the abundance of finding servers and not having to like suffer through bad matchup is that when people get absolutely owned by playing terrible compositions or loadouts, they don't really stick around to learn. They just go like, oh yeah, this lobby is fucked, let's find another one. And you have streamers doing this and like encouraging this sort of play too. So like, I think like half the lobby rage quit because they lost so bad. Because it's easier to just find a new game than to be like, oh yeah, let's let's stick together and work on this. And it's a shame, because I hadn't played TF2 in quite a bit, because I've been taking like a break and been playing other stuff. And I thought I was going to be like really rusty, but there's like no one can contest me in casual. Like it's very few, and the only ones that are real threat are like people who are grouped. But yeah, this last part here, weird flex, but okay. Nah, it's just like, when you have over 10,000 hours in the game and you know a bunch of stuff and there's a bunch of new players playing that don't know stuff, like you just kill everybody. Like here, I'm just unpunished. The spies just keep dying on repeat, stuff like that. Random crit hit someone. Yep, that's cool. I really like the end here. I'm not sure exactly what it is we're blowing up. It's just like some energy source thing that's maybe inside the tank. I really like how the end turns into a point, so the defenders still have some time. That it just doesn't end instantly. I thought this like electricity would be dangerous, but it wasn't. So yeah, cool map. Definitely going to be staying in my rotation, and I'll be playing it more in the future. Definitely adding it to the balance mod servers as well. So this next map here is Conifer. I just played around on it, and it's the same map as I played in like some YouTuber competitive league a while ago. Don't remember exactly, but I do remember playing this map, so cool to see that this has been added. Out of all the maps, I think this is probably the most TF2 aesthetic map, because it feels like very Team Fortress 2, like very like dirty, dusty, gravelly, like old, yeah, like like the structures you see in Dust Bowl and like Badwater and that sort of thing. So very close to that layout. I think it's pretty interesting. It's a fairly short attack defend map, which we see a lot more of now, I think. Because you had like the first one that was really short was like Gorge, and then people realized that, oh, you can have like really short and sweet attack defend maps. And this one feels like that. I really like the helicopter at the end there, and like the loading pad. Sort of feels like you're taking over some stuff to be used in another map later, so that's cool. And of course, this time around it is my team who gets absolutely shafted, but hey, that's TF2 for you. So I really like the that's like next to the road here, or the road's closed, stuff like that. Really cool. But I think like the last point here is actually like very cool design, where it's like the enemy comes from the high ground and the point is on the middle ground, and you defend from the low ground. Although I do think like when people figure this map out, that like defending on the low ground actually isn't that strong. But I do think this allows for a lot of creativity. It's fairly open, so sentries are going to be good and fast classes are going to be good. So that's interesting. This little nook here is very like Team Fortress 2 basey, and I like it. Let's see here what I'm talking about, like with the defense. And also here it allows for some really cool cheeses that you can do if you can fucking punch correctly and land the random crit the gods gave you before the other demo comes and takes your kill and you get nothing. So yeah, pretty decent map. I like it. Probably gonna stay in my rotation for a little bit until I take it out. So yeah, good one for me. Next up is Boardwalk, which is a reskin of the Slaughter map that we had in Creators TF a while back. So it's like a summer version of it. I think I like the reskin a lot more. If we take a look at the old one, you can see here that it's pretty much exactly the same, except that you are inside this giant slaughterhouse. But yeah, the outlook of the map and the design and all the other like trinkets and stuff are still here. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So as for the gameplay itself, I think it plays better than the other King of the Hill map we had that had like very complex topology. Like here it's open, it's like, yeah, it's one path below and there's a path on each side, and of course this one has crocodiles with hats on it, so of course it's good. And while it's still small, I believe it's maybe smaller than the other one, it feels easier to get a handle on because it's not that complex and there's not a lot of areas that go unused. Because that's an issue like a lot of maps have, is that they often end up with areas that are like a dead zone. And of course some map, like it's fine to have a dead zone that isn't really used all that often, but like in King of the Hill, you shouldn't really have areas that are never used. And I feel like the other map that we played earlier, that it had a lot of complex setup that isn't really used for anything, because you just hold the point and keep it there. And then you have the other map, the Demolition, or what it was called, where it's too small, right? So I think this one hits like right in the middle where it's simple enough and pretty okay. And lastly is Manhole, a King of the Hill map that's also very small, but it doesn't have the complexity that I think it was Blowout has. But this one struggles the same with the Demolition, where Demoman is just the best on this map, no, hands down, because it's not as cramped as the other one, but with the layout of how it works and that you have like this giant building you can't really go around, Demoman just reigns supreme. So if you ever wonder how to deal with mass heavy medic, and it seems to be an unstoppable strategy, you can just literally go Demoman and you counter that pretty hard, even without medics. So see, like you can stand on the low ground here and the pressure, of course someone can pressure you from below, but like, you get the idea, not always is going to be someone there. Of course we are absolutely getting smashed as well, but you can see here like just standing on the point, it's very cramped, they can't really see them, I can hit them, they can't hit me, I can disengage whenever I want. And yeah, makes demo pretty good here. But overall, I think the map is okay. A bit demo favored, so I probably will not have this in my rotation. I do like the look of it. It feels very like urban TF2-y, so that's nice. Other than that, it's fairly small. I think it works best in like smaller player counts. I think maybe we'll see competitive play on this thing. Probably not Highlander, but 6v6 I think could work here, because like the less players are on the map, the less value you get as a demo man. So that's also something to keep in mind. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching until the end. Of course, if you have any ideas or suggestions, if you want to see any more guides or videos or tips and tricks or something, I'm down for starting to doing some of that again in TF2. And be sure to join the Discord. Links in the description below. We will have, as of the days of this video's release, we will have a balance mod session that we maybe try out these maps as well. So be sure to join that. EU time. Event in description.